think James Wan should stick to making these films exclusively. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, is the latest film in the Conjuring universe, directed by Michael Chaves and starring Patrick Wilson and Vera Famiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators. This time, they're taking their most horrific case yet. I think so. Involving demonic possession, and the first time a murder trial suspect is going to use demonic possession as a defence. So let me just clarify first, I'm a huge horror movie fan, and I love the Conjuring films. I also love the Insidious films, which James Wan also did, but I especially love the Conjuring 2. I thought the nun in that film was horrific and disturbing, and not only that, but it was just a generally good, fun film to watch at the cinema. So I was extremely excited for a latest film in the Conjuring series. My first doubts, however, should have been seen when I saw the director of this film, Michael Chaves, only had one other horror film he did, a big film, The Curse of La Llorona, which I heard was quite bad. I haven't actually seen this film, I've just seen some reviews for this film, and I've heard it is terrible, so I do not want to see this film. But I went in with high hopes. Maybe I set the bar too high, I don't know. But the biggest problem with this film, the biggest curse this film has, is this film is forgetful. It is very forgetful, and it is dull, and it's kind of boring. You don't want that in a horror film. You don't want a horror film to be boring and dull and forgetful. I mean, you think of The Conjuring 1 and 2. There's so many scenes in those films that you can just instantly just remember straight away, like, I know this film. The Conjuring 1, the clap scene. The Conjuring 2, anything with the nun in at all is just terrifying. There's so many scenes in those films that are memorable. Nothing in this film stands out. I didn't really feel scared, and after the halfway point, my tension and dread just dropped. What I like in horror films is when they create a sense of dread that escalates and follows the audience. You constantly feel tense and unnerved, especially at scenes at night when the characters on their own or in a dark room. You constantly feel the edge of your seat, you feel tense, you feel horrified and scared. This film didn't have that, and because it was so bad and lacking of tension early on, by the second and third act, you just don't really care. You actually want to be scared. You kind of look at the film like really close, going, come on, scare me, do it, scare me. And that didn't happen in this film. I was not scared at all in this film. So the plot, briefly, is the film starts with a possession of a young boy, and the Warrens are there to perform an exorcism. Apparently this possession is extremely strong because they cannot contain it. I mean, it's pretty stronger than the nun, Valak, which I really doubt, but okay. It's stronger than that. It attacks Ed, well, the boy attacks Ed, should I say, gives Ed a heart attack. So he, for the first half hour of this film, is kind of out in a sort of coma. And then another boy, a friend of the family, Arnie, tells the demon to take him instead, very like The Exorcist. The demon takes him, and then he goes off, commits terrible crime later on. It's put on trial, as you can imagine. And the Warrens believe it is demonic possession, and they want to use demonic possession as a defence in court. Whether this is true or not, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure some bits of this film are true, but it's very loosely based on true events, as most horror films are. So that's the basics of the plot. So what does this film do that's good? Well, first of all, the Warrens, Patrick Wilson and Vera Famiga, are great as the Warrens. But unfortunately, it's the only people in this film I actually cared for and rooted for. Because they're so charming, and the relationship is so believable, you know, they've got good chemistry, you know they can handle the occult and the demonic, and you like to see them do their thing. When they're on set, they're doing their scenes, you're invested, you're intrigued. But anytime they went on screen, I did not care. I didn't care about the family at the start, I didn't care about Arnie, I didn't care about his girlfriend. I just wasn't that invested, because the film doesn't give you much time to really invest in the characters. Straight away, there's a possession, and then pretty much straight after, Arnie performs his terrible act, and then he's sort of in prison, then in a mental hospital, back and forth, and he's just sort of being attacked and sweating and panicking and scared. So there's no time to really bond with the characters and get connected to the characters at all, which is a shame, really. As in Conjuring, the second Conjuring film, the Hodgson family you cared for, because you could see it was a single mother raising these three kids on her own, trying hard to work and, trying to do everything she could to keep her kids safe and looked after and fed. And at the same time, there's this horrible demonic presence in the house and they're under attack, so you really cared for this family. You could understand the pain, the torment they went through. and that wasn't in this film at all. So the big question is this film scary? Now, I know horror is subjective. Some people might find something scary, some people might not find things scary. It's different. I mean, I found The Nun terrifying in The Conjuring 2. Some people might not find The Nun that scary. They may find The Nun quite, mild or maybe comical even. That's just what they feel, and that's fair enough. You can feel like that. So it's kind of subjective, but as a fan of horror and seen a lot of horror films, and I've been scared and found things that aren't scary, this film was not scary at all. And to explain why it's not scary is because the film sets up scenes that could be great. There's some scenes where it's dark and the characters are alone and it goes quiet and there's tension and something will fall off, or some characters walk in a room on their own, it's quiet and creepy, and then nothing really happens. It never leads anywhere. The tension starts off okay, then just fizzles out and doesn't lead to anything. And then after the second or third time that happens, you get sick of it happening. You just kind of come numb. You come numb to the film's own tension. The film should be mad at itself for making you feel the way you do about its own scenes, because it's the film's fault that you don't feel scared. Then when the film tries to make its scenes again scary later, you aren't scared at all. For example, one of my favourite scenes, let's take The Conjuring 1. One of my favourite scenes in The Conjuring 1, it's just a simple scene. It's a scene when the kids are in the bedroom, and one of the kids looks at something behind the door, and they see something, and we can't see where it is. The other kids can't see where it is, but they can see something there, something scary, and they're terrified. They're looking into this dark corner, this dark abyss behind this door, and the camera's moving in slowly. We can't see anything, and we never do see anything. There's nothing in the film we see. It's just a camera panning into darkness, getting closer and closer, and the characters are shocked and scared. And it is tense and scary because it's the fear of the unknown, and the tension build up. But the scene works because it builds tension. We believe the characters are scared. They're scared. We're scared. We follow what they go through. There's nothing like that in this film. I mean, some things happen that can be creepy, but they don't actually go anywhere at all with it. And it's such a shame because, the Conjuring series is great. They can turn something so simple, like I just said, a scene in the bedroom at night, to be so horrifying and scary. Just through tension, just through lighting and sound and editing and, leaving the camera lingering on something for a long time. It's why the first Paranormal Activity film worked for me, because even though you don't see a lot of that film, the shots of that camera staring into that abyss of the hallway and hearing things coming closer, and it's one of the greatest fears we can give. The greatest thing you can have is the fear of the unknown, because it's such a strong, impulsive fear. You can't, if you can't see something, it is scary because you don't know what it is. The unknown is scary to us. It's a natural feeling. So when the film has that start off with, and then throws a comically ridiculous, let's say, ghoul-like thing or ghost thing at the character, and does it again and again, it just becomes almost comedic and silly. And actually, 2 points in this film I kind of laughed at. It made me chuckle, and that is not good. I'm going to do a little spoiler section at the end here just so I can tell you what bits made me laugh, but that's it for the film. I mean, acting-wise, Patrick Wilson and Vera Famiga were great as the Warrens. They're believable, and I enjoyed them. Cinematography is not too bad. The film is shot kind of well. It's kind of well lit in parts, and the dialogue is a little cheesy. It's a little bit bland. Characters just sort of come and go to places. People just appear at some place and somewhere else. They had everything there. They had the ingredients to make something great, but they didn't know what they were doing. It's like giving the best equipment and the best ingredients to a chef, but then hiring a chef who doesn't know what he's doing. You can give them the best ingredients, you can give them the best equipment, all the right tools, everything's there for them, but if they're not a good chef, they're not good at their creation, they're not a good creator, it will not work. And that's what this film is. This film was dull, boring, lacking tension, lacking suspense, and just bland and forgetful. And that's it for what I've got to say about The Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It, a bland, dull film. Now I'm going to go to a spoiler section now and explain some things about the film in detail, so if you don't want anything spoiled for you, I'd skip the video now, but for everyone else, here is a spoiler section for The Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It. So I feel like I need to discuss the plot a bit more to really tell you how I felt about this film. So the film starts off with possession of a young boy, like I said, and a friend of the family, Arnie, takes the demon into him to save the boy, and then goes off. And then not long after, he's at a kennels with his girlfriend. He lives above a kennel, like a dog kennel. And there's this weird long-haired drunk guy downstairs who's always partying and dancing around. He's just so ridiculous over the top. I was like, come on, this guy's going to die. He's going to die straight away. Okay. And then Arnie starts seeing things, which I thought this could have been great. This could have been the good start of the film. He is possessed, so you're waiting for that to happen. You think, what's he going to see? Is something going to happen? And then he starts seeing things. You think, oh, this could be good. He's going to start seeing things and be like scared. And then there's a cheap jump scare. And then some scenes go nowhere. And then he attacks and kills the long-haired guy in the kennels because he sees him as a demon. Now, what he sees him as is what the film does quite a lot. It does this about 4 or 5 times. And I wish someone would tell this filmmaker that, okay, this isn't that scary anymore. The whole creaky limbs and, you know, the limbs cracking and body twisting and contorting around and all that stuff, it's just, yeah, it's not that scary, really. So he sees him like that, and he's got a crazy face, and he runs away from him, and he's like, all the while Blondie's Call Me is playing, so he kind of ruins attention a little bit, because that song's kind of upbeat, but okay. And then he stabs him, kills him, because what he sees he is, walks off, police officer finds him, takes him to custody, and now he's on trial. And the Warrens come in, and they want to prove that it's demonic possession. And I don't really know what any court of law would, or, you know, anyone would take this seriously, demonic possession, but okay, let's just say disbelief is fine. Let's say, okay, I believe that. Ed is in a coma because he had a heart attack when the thing attacked him. He wakes up, he's on a walkie stick, he has to take medication, which he forgets later on. I'll get to that later on as well. He forgets medication numerous times. And then they think, right, we have to save this boy because Ed is the only one who noticed the demon entering on his body, even though Lorraine was right next to him. I don't get how that works, but only Ed realised that Arnie was possessed. Okay, fair enough. So then they go to Arnie, who seems okay. He can touch a cross, read from a Bible, so he seems fine. You know, they want to let you know this demon's powerful. It's really powerful. Did you know that? It's powerful. It can't read from the Bible. It can't hold a cross. Just dig it in there. It's a powerful demon. So then the film takes on a sort of crime thriller, kind of like Seven, kind of like detective thriller. They go around finding clues, trying to piece together what's going on. All the while Arnie's in a prison and a mental home, and he's like occasionally having attacks, and he's scared, and he's seeing things. And I thought that could have been good. He's in a mental home at night, and I thought, oh, he's going to see horrific things, but nothing happens. Like, it's just, well, I'm going to say now that the main ghoul, the main demon thing in this film is nothing that creative. It's just like the guy from the start, the sort of large, fat guy with the long hair. It's just him. He's bloated, he's naked, he's like a corpse, he's got like grey eyes. That is the main scary, big reveal demon thing in this film. It's him as a ghost. And he's just not that creepy. He is just not that scary. He is just bland. And they do it again and again and again. Every time something dark or some tension happens, the big reveal is him. And you're like, oh, this guy again, this naked, bloated guy. And that is it. So the Warrens are going around, find their clues, and it's kind of dull and kind of bland because it's just, the plot isn't that interesting. I think the plot thinks it's more interesting than it is. It thinks it's better than it is, and it's not. Basically, there is a witch, a really powerful satanic witch, behind the scenes, who has this plot to commit 3 atrocities to fulfill some pact. It's 3 deaths. It has to have the death of an innocent. It has to have the innocent to take a life. So that's the first one. Then it has to have a righteous man commit a murder, which is what she wants Ed to do. And she leaves little skulls around. It's like witchcraft and like hex bags, you know, all that gist. Obviously, there's another character in the film is this old priest who collects satanic rituals and artifacts. And I thought he was going to betray them. I thought he was a bit weird. He was going to trick them. Maybe because the actor plays Denethor in Lord of the Rings, and we all know Denethor's a complete prick. So I thought it'd be the same here, but not so much. And yeah, it turns out the witch is his daughter. Yeah, that's it. Right at the end of the film, witch is his daughter. And the witch has about 5 lines in the whole film. She's just a generic, bland, really evil bad guy who kills her father without saying any words, chases Ed and Lorraine, and then at the end of the film, they break the altar and she gets killed by a demon. all twisty again, then dies, and that's the end of the film, and that's it. Now, I want to put out 2 bits of this film, maybe laugh. Okay, the first one is, Ed has medication for his heart, and he forgets it a couple of times, and he's like, oh, be careful. I assume the thing is he thinks he's young and still fit, he can still run around and do what he needs to do, but obviously he needs to slow down, he's had a heart attack. So he forgets his pills, and they mentioned it a couple of times, and I thought, oh, let me guess, right at the end of the film, he's going to save her, and then, oh, pills, he needs his pills. And actually, because I was thinking about this, I actually laughed because they save the day, they come out of the house, they're all hugging, and then Ed drops to the floor and goes, oh, my pills, and then Lorraine has a pill in her pendant, and then gives him the pill, and that's the end. And that's it. It just made me laugh. And then another thing that made me laugh is the priest who collects the satanic artifacts in this big house, who's a retired priest. He researches this cult, who the antagonist of the film is worshipping. At the end of the film, Lorraine goes to see him, and he's talking to her, and he says, right, you're going to need my help, we'll help translate this and try and break the curse and see what we can do. So he goes downstairs into his room of occults and just disappears, and Lorraine's like, where'd he gone? And it's all dark and he's just gone. And I thought, oh great, this is some big reveal, he's a part of the cult, or he's a demon, or he's betrayed him, he's a priest who's betrayed the faith. I thought, that's a great idea. And I thought, I've got a bit of attention now from this scene. She went down the stairs, into his room, and I thought, where is he? The room's all dark. She's looking around, and I thought, oh my god, this is scary. Where's his priest? Is he some kind of demon? Is he going to try and kill her? And then, clicks on a light. Oh, hello. He's just reading a book in the dark, waiting for her to come downstairs. And I just laughed so hard in the cinema at this bit. It was so ridiculous. While he sat down there for about 5 or 10 minutes in the dark, waiting for Lorraine to flick on a light and read the book. It was just so ridiculous. It's just a funny. It's just, when you laugh at a film like this, it's bad. You know it's bad. I mean, The Conjuring 2 and 1 had a bit of humour here and there, but that was intentional. This is unintentional humour. Oh dear. And the film just ends kind of abrupt. It's like the climax of the film is in these tunnels, and then the witch is chasing Ed and Lorraine, and she's causing him to have visions. She blows some dust in Ed so he can't see what he's doing, he's going crazy. It just felt a bit bland, and the antagonist of this film, because she doesn't hold any lines, and you only see it last half the film pretty much, I didn't really care. It was like, is this it? Is this all you have as an antagonist for the film? This bland, boring, stiff, witch-like character with no lines. She doesn't even look that scary, really, at all. And that's it for my review. I'm sorry I kind of waffled on a bit at the end there about spoilers, but I want to get my point across about how bad this film is. And I just want to say, because I'm such a big fan of these kind of films, these horror films, why are Hollywood churning out this crap? I mean, The Nun was terrible. Insidious 4 was terrible. And there's many other films that I just refuse to see because they just look so bad. Any film like with social media in them, and I just don't want to see because they just look so terrible. I mean, the last film that truly scared me, shocked me and scared me, was Hereditary. Now that film was horrific. And some people might like that film. They might find it boring. They're the kind of people who want to go to cinema and laugh, talk to their friends, eat popcorn, and then wait for a scary scene, and jump for popcorn in the air and laugh at themselves, and then knock out the characters and talk and laugh until the next scene happens, and again. And I just hate films like this. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. I don't want films like this. I want clever, creative films that know how to work tension and believable characters and create this dread, drip-feed dread to the audience. Make me invested, make me scared, make me feel on my edge of my seat all the time, which is what this film did not do. And that's it for my review of The Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It. This is a bad, bland, boring film. Hope you enjoyed this review. I'll have more reviews for you soon. Anything about this film you want to say, anything you think, anything I got wrong, leave in the comments down below. If you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that, and thanks for watching.